Got hit with fake smiles that felt like knives? Do people praise you in public but plot against you in private, then pretend they don't know why they're triggered by your presence? Are you starting to realize this isn't ordinary dislike, but a hidden campaign because you're chosen, and your light exposes what others desperately hide? Here's the shocking truth. God separated you on purpose. He marked your spirit, raised your frequency, and trained your sight to cut through performance and pretense. He weaned you off counterfeit approval, sharpened your discernment in silence, and sent you back carrying an authority that makes darkness panic. That's why backhanded compliments show up. That's why rooms get tense. It's not you being too much, it's His anointing announcing itself before you speak. And this is where you're headed. You'll stop shrinking to soothe fragile egos. You'll stand royal calm, mauve précis, and become living evidence that favor outranks politics and truth outlives gossip. If this hits your spirit, comment 777 to confirm it. If you're new here, subscribe and tap the bell. This space is your shield and signal in a world that tries to dim what God lit in you. To everyone who's poured into this mission through super thanks, thank you. Sincerely, your support keeps this light burning for those who need it most. Now lean in. Why do people secretly hate the chosen ones? The answer isn't just psychology, it's spiritual physics. In the next section, I'll expose the 3 invisible triggers your anointing activates in others and the counter moves that turn their envy into your elevation. Ready to pull the mask off? Let's go. God's chosen ones. Why do people secretly hate you? The shocking truth. You were never designed to blend in. You were engineered to stand out like a lighthouse cutting through marine fog. That uneasy attention that trails you into classrooms, offices, and family rooms has a pattern. Some faces soften, others tighten, a few glow, more grow cold. Why does your presence stir rooms you haven't spoken to yet? Why do smiles and side eyes arrive in the same breath when you simply take your seat? The reason is older than your memories and deeper than personal opinion. If you were of the world would love you as its own, but because you are not of the world hates you. John 15:19. That hostility isn't a verdict against your worth, it's a readout of your assignment. From childhood, you've carried a signal that makes hidden things flicker into visibility. In a crowded hallway, truth leans toward you, like iron to a magnet. No announcement, no performance, just gravity. Those who cherish pretense feel the tremor first. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against rulers and spiritual forces of evil. Ephesians 6:12. So when whispers rise and alliances form against you with no logical cause, ask quietly within, is this really about me or about the light I carry that makes disguises transparent? When it's your voice that steadies chaos, your silence can threaten the stage directions of those who profit from confusion. You don't merely occupy space, you alter the atmosphere. In physics language, your spirit holds a natural frequency that forces resonance in every system you touch. Closed rooms prefer white noise. You arrive as a tuning fork. People feel it as exposure. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Light blesses those who want to see, and it irritates those who would rather stay asleep under warm illusions. The moment you step closer to your design, when you stop apologizing for clarity, the resistance intensifies. Why did a friend turn cold the exact week you stopped minimizing your gift? Why did a relative invent a rumor the day your purpose found words? The pattern is predictable: higher voltage, louder interference. Yet, No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. And the promise stands whether the weapon is slander, sabotage, or strategic silence. This is larger than opinions, it's architectural. Heaven drafted your life as a load-bearing beam within a failing structure, where others accept a crooked arch because it still stands. You sense invisible stress lines and hairline fractures. Your presence is the plumb line that shows what's out of true. In social psychology, this provokes projection. Those unwilling to face their own cracks accuse you of being the crack. Your refusal to lie becomes, to them, an act of aggression. Your forgiveness exposes their addiction to grudges. Your discipline reveals their pact with laziness. And because chosen ones cannot be remote controlled, those who rely on manipulation label you difficult, arrogant, naive, anything that might reduce the threat of your independence. The shepherd's reassurance hums beneath the noise. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. To anchor this in the human story, meet Corrie ten Boom, a Dutch watchmaker who hid Jewish families during the Nazi occupation. She was not a bishop or a general, simply a woman with a key and a conscience. She once observed, "If God sends us on strong paths, we are provided strong shoes." Notice the pattern. Her hidden room became a visible light. The regime reacted, imprisoned her, and still could not extinguish the glow. Does your path feel strong right now because your assignment is strong? 2. Music has carried this truth across centuries. Handel's Messiah opens the curtain with a chorus shaped by Isaiah's promise, "And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed." A sonic architecture where revelation doesn't entertain. It reorganizes weight and redistributes load. That's what happens when you arrive faithful to your blueprint. The stage resists renovation. The audience, divided by the truth, insists the set remain the same. Yet the conductor raises a hand. And the orchestra of your circumstances modulates key. Interference hits a wrong note. Grace resolves it in time. Let's bring it home through everyday lives. Mara, a night shift nurse in a provincial hospital, quietly prays over charts and remembers each patient's child by name. Colleagues who shortcut care mock her slowness. Managers press her to be efficient. Months later, her steady attentiveness catches a lethal dosage error and saves a life. She receives a private thank you from the family, and the mockery dissolves into awkward gratitude. Javier, a municipal street sweeper, keeps a battered notebook of small kindnesses he witnesses at dawn. He tapes one page each Friday on the break room wall. Found a child's red mitten, returned to corner shop owner, saved it. Some laugh, one calls him the city poet. A local reporter discovers his notes. The city launches a quiet good news board. The ripple becomes policy. Quiet influence. Bright afterglow. If the hostility has grown lately, that's your calibration, not your collapse. Engineers call it signal-to-noise ratio. When a transmitter grows stronger, interference doesn't defeat it, it only becomes more audible for a while. Spiritually, the same math applies. Your clarity is rising, the static screams before it fades. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. The prophet wrote, not as a crown of superiority, but as an assignment that interrupts the market of illusions. Across history, William Wilberforce, a British parliamentarian and abolitionist, named his inner command the grand object of my life. That single sentence cost him decades of ridicule. Yet he stayed aligned with the frequency of justice until the slave trade fell. Does your life also carry a grand object that clarifies what you pursue and what you will never sell. There's a hidden mercy in your hardest days. In tournament strategy, Champion's Master. The quiet interval between matches, measured breaths, where muscle memory resets and vision clears. God has given you such intervals, hours that looked like delay but were actually recovery. Doors that seemed shut conserved your strength until discernment matured into wisdom. Can you recall one moment when silence preserved you from speaking too soon? That hush was not punishment, it was preparation. So when you walk into another room and the temperature changes, recognize the physics at work. Light displaces shadow. Tuning forks awaken strings. True north exposes counterfeits of direction. This world doesn't despise the ordinary. It resents the honest because truth pulls down curtains. You were sent to wake sleepers, break cycles, and restore what fear confiscated. Hate then becomes a misfired compliment, the opposition identifying the weight you carry. A table is being set in the open, not as a taunt, but as a demonstration that grace is a better architect than terror will ever be. Here is the verdict. The attacks confirm assignment. The isolation refines focus. And the false accusations build case law in heaven's court for your public vindication on earth. Rise. Lift your head like a cathedral spire that refuses to bow to fog. Walk into the next hour with the composure of one who has rehearsed the truth and found it trustworthy. Hold your frequency. Build what only you can build. Speak with a voice trained by mercy and aimed by justice. When rooms react, do not shrink to fit their comfort. Expand to fit your calling. Unshaken, unstoppable, undeniably chosen. You were never assigned to drift with the crowd. You were commissioned to cut through it like a prow through heavy water. Something in you is rousing right now. A memory older than your earliest wound. A certainty that your path is not random. What does it truly mean to be chosen? The answer doesn't arrive as hype, it arrives as alignment. Where your life stops echoing other people's noise and starts carrying its own clear frequency. First, the chosen are spiritually awake. While many move through routines in a trance, chasing shiny distractions that evaporate by Monday, you read the charge hidden beneath words, gestures, and atmospheres. Have you noticed how your gut tugged you away from the wrong room 5 minutes before the damage landed? That inner warning isn't paranoia, it's preservation. Scripture already named this current. He will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. Psalm 91:11. Your intuition has kept receipts. It has pulled you off detours that wore friendly smiles. You aren't here to pass as ordinary, you are here to wake, to see, and to witness reality without the stage makeup of popular illusion. When your eyes open, you start spotting exits in rooms that pretend they have none. And that alone marks you as different. Second, the chosen carry divine purpose. Your biography wasn't stitched from accidents. The stitches are providence. The heartbreaks, delays, and breathtaking near misses did not crush you, they carved you. All things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose, Romans 8:28. And you can trace that promise across the timelines of your life like a golden thread, while others grabbed at momentary applause. You kept hunting meaning, while they laughed at what doesn't last. You sat with eternal questions until they turned into assignments. Some of you are healers who bring light where grief made a home. Some are leaders who translate confusion into direction. Some are breakers of generational cycles, interrupting pain that pretended to be tradition. What mission keeps whispering through your ordinary mornings, refusing to be quiet? Third, The chosen possess an unshakable spirit. Your page is not clean because nothing touched it. Your page is clean because grace kept rewriting it. You have been pressed, but not flattened, betrayed, but not embittered, delayed, but not denied. This isn't motivational wallpaper, this is field data. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, struck down, but not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9. You didn't just survive, you metabolized the storm into new strength. That resilience is not common, it's covenant. When you remember the season that should have ended you, what fresh authority wakes up in your voice? The answer is, why doors that once ignored you now open with quiet respect. Fourth, the chosen are often misunderstood. Rare signal irritates lazy receivers. Your pace, your boundaries, your refusal to trade truth for belonging, these unsettle people who need a script they can control. Yet misunderstanding is not isolation, it's a sorting. Across distance and language, there is a people whose spirits rhyme with yours. Your paths will intersect when timing matures. Until then, take comfort in this. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. Set apart doesn't crown you above others. It positions you for service. And when the world calls loneliness a sentence, heaven calls it training precision time, where your discernment converts to wisdom. Fifth, the chosen stand inside protection. Review your story, the almost accident that veered, the email that arrived in the 11th hour, the closed door that later proved to be a shield. None of that is luck, it's law in a higher kingdom. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54-17 doesn't promise the weapon won't be forged or raised. It promises the strike won't decide the ending. The result is a steady courage that doesn't need a spotlight to exist, because this is spiritual. It also shows up in the architecture of your days. Your calling is a load-bearing beam designed to carry weight others cannot see. You sense microfractures in systems that look stable. You hear hairline cracks before buildings admit them. Social psychology names the pushback you receive projection. Those resisting their inner work prefer to label you the problem rather than confront their own fault lines. Meanwhile, your life keeps aligning to true north. And that alignment acts like a tuning fork, silent until a nearby string begins to sing. To help your mind feel the shape of this, creation offers parables no classroom can improve. The honeybee's waggle dance, a living vector diagram, transmits exact coordinates to a food source. Your testimony does something similar, encoding direction in story so others can find provision without wasting their lives on deserts. The mycelium network beneath a forest floor ferries nutrients to a struggling sapling. Unseen intercessions around you have moved strength you didn't know existed into your roots. Starling murmurations sketch fluid equations across the dusk. Your community of the faithful moves like that, many hearts. One motion, confounding predators that hunt by isolating the one, and the serotinous cone of a black spruce stays sealed until fire passes, then opens to seed a stronger future. Trials you feared would end, you have instead unlocked what had to wait for heat. History, too, offers a clear warning about antagonists who collide with assignment. Here is a brief case. Haman, a high official in ancient Persia, engineered a public scheme to erase a people. His plot inverted when Queen Esther stepped into purpose for such a time as this. And the gallows he built for another became his own end. Esther 4:14, 7:10. The pattern persists across eras. Control thrives in shadows until a chosen one stands under God's light. Then the mechanism consumes its maker. Which pressure right now is trying to push you out of your moment doorway? Name it, and it begins to shrink. Art has been singing this reality for centuries. In Bach's Saint, Matthew Passion, the chorale, O Haupt voll Blut und Wunden, doesn't flatter pain, it dignifies it with harmony that refuses to bow to despair. That is what grace does in you. It tunes agony into worship. Then aims worship at courage, until courage begins to move history an inch at a time. All of this tightens into a single, blazing truth. The world's hostility toward the chosen isn't proof of your failure, it's proof of your frequency. You are awake in an age that monetizes sleep. You bear purpose in a market that prizes performance. You are resilient in a culture that worships convenience. You are misunderstood in spaces that trade honesty for approval. You are protected while fear sells panic as wisdom. And because you live inside this five-fold paradox, resistance mistakes your existence for a threat. Let it. Purpose is not here to be domesticated. So here is the charge. Rise. Step forward without apology. Walk like one who has rehearsed truth until it became muscle memory. Guard your hour of quiet training. It turns skirmishes into strategy. Keep your boundaries. They are holy architecture, not walls of pride. Speak the assignment back to yourself until the distraction loses its accent. If rooms tense when you enter, do not shrink to soothe them, expand to fit your calling. You were born for this awake, assigned, unshakable, misunderstood, yet anchored, protected in plain sight. The hate is loud, but your destiny is louder. You did nothing to them, yet the chill in the room arrived before your name did. Rejection, ridicule, envy, there's a pattern. And it's bigger than personalities or petty feuds. This is spiritual architecture. The reaction you provoke isn't about your face. It's about your freight. Once that truth settles, you stop internalizing hostility. Because the target is not you, it's what you carry. Your light exposes hidden rooms. You enter, and the atmosphere recalibrates. The energy shifts without a speech because light speaks by revealing. Masks feel heavier when truth walks in. Scripture has already mapped this dynamic. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light, but whoever does what is true comes to the light. John 3:20-21. Many would rather protect an image than confront the drafty places of the soul. So the echoes come, accusations, deflections, fast labels. You are not the problem. You are the mirror that interrupts a profitable illusion. When did you first notice that your quiet presence made secrets rustle as if a door had opened somewhere? Light doesn't humiliate, it liberates. Yet liberation threatens the marketplace of deception. So those invested in shadows prefer to attack the lamp rather than audit the shelves. You also cannot be controlled. Systems that monetize sleep resent people who wake on time. Approval is the leash. You keep slipping it. Am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. This is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is holy differentiation. You test claims, follow conviction, and refuse the theater of fear. In the language of control systems, your soul runs on a different feedback loop. The reference signal is the spirit, not the crowd. What outcome would you stop chasing today if applause were no longer the currency? The instant you stop auditioning, manipulation loses its script. Your field strength is high, Some bristle around you with no provocation because you carry a different coherence, not noise but signal. The engine is named plainly. God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1-7. In physics, when a harmonic oscillator meets a stronger driver, amplitudes rise and fragile scaffolds shake. Spiritually, your clarity acts like a clean carrier wave in the frequency domain, and low-grade atmospheres scramble to defend themselves. This isn't superiority, it's stewardship. Your interior order reduces communal entropy, and that reduction forces choices rise higher or haul others down. Many pick the shortcut sabotage because growth has a cost. Who tried to shrink you last month because your steadiness exposed their shortcuts? Make a note, not a grudge. Your refusal to settle converts regret into jealousy. Entire lives are negotiated away to comfort, then punished by comparison. Your purpose reminds bystanders of vows they abandoned. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2. Transformation, slowly earned, shines, and instead of asking how to rebuild, some attempt to reduce your altitude through whisper campaigns and selective memory. Here's the paradox: the more you bless, the more certain egos perceive loss. Purpose operates on a Pareto frontier. You cannot maximize obedience to God and maximize public approval at the same point on the curve. Choose obedience, accept the cost, harvest the freedom. When your name is missing from rooms you once craved, do you feel loss or the first breath of real authority? And yes, this is warfare, not workplace politics. From birth, your assignment triggered resistance. The pattern is ancient. You will be hated by all for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 10:22. Personalities often act as conduits. Unseen malice prefers human mouths. Still, assault consistently backfires. Rejection reroutes you into protected lanes. Betrayal trains pattern recognition. Delay builds holy stamina. In the language of biology, pressure rewires neuroplasticity. In the language of chemistry, grace drives a phase transition from liquid uncertainty to solid conviction. Every strike meant to scatter you has been converting raw experience into calibrated wisdom. To ground this in daily life, meet 3 ordinary witnesses. Trang, a public bus driver, keeps a small notebook of routes, prayer requests, and lost item reunions. Co-workers teased her sentimentality, until a winter morning brake fault, caught only because she never skipped her pre-trip checks, prevented a tragedy. A supervisor, once dismissive, adopted her routine citywide. That's homeostasis restored, one faithful cell stabilizing the larger body. Rashid, a junior electrician, draws color-coded diagrams. No one requests and refuses under-the-table shortcuts. He's labeled slow until a building-wide outage hits. His maps turn a 12-hour crisis into a 90-minute surgical fix. And those diagrams become training standards, a living chart of signal transduction, where one clean input propagates integrity across the system. Elena, a cafeteria line cook, memorizes allergies and quietly organizes prep with an almost liturgical order. A sudden anaphylaxis scare occurs. Her disciplined labeling and mental map save a life before EMTs arrive. Gossip about her strictness ends in grateful silence. None shouted. Each carried light that cancelled shortcuts. Time vindicated them, because your calling is structural. In architectural terms, you are a keystone set into an arch. Pressure rises through you because weight is redistributing. You sense microfractures in systems that look stable. Hear hairline cracks before buildings, admit them. That sensitivity is not cynicism, it's guardianship. And there is also the holy pause, the quiet interval between matches where the Spirit retunes your interior orchestra. You breathe. Reset the Q factor of your soul, how sharply you hold resonance. And step back into the arena with clean frequencies. That pause is not avoidance, it is strategy. Strategy, rightly ordered, is worship in motion. Here is the charge. Rise. Lift your posture from apology to assignment. Guard the blueprint God entrusted to you. Stop negotiating your brilliance down to keep fragile rooms comfortable. Speak without theatrical volume and with uncompromised clarity. Refuse counterfeit peace that demands your silence. Walk forward like one who has rehearsed truth until it becomes muscle memory. You are light in an age that monetizes shadows. A calling in a market that sells roles. A living proof that grace builds what fear cannot maintain. Stand up and move unbent, unbought, undeniable. You did nothing to them, yet the air cooled the moment you walked in. Their frowns, the side glances, the sudden resistance. This pattern is not random noise, it's a readout from a deeper system. This is spiritual warfare, not a popularity contest. Once that lands in your bones, you stop wasting breath fighting shadows. Because the target has never been your personality, it's your purpose. They fear what you will become under God's hand. And they should. Because once a chosen one stands fully inside an assignment, momentum follows like fire to dry wood. Will you shrink to soothe fragile rooms? Or will you hold your line when their comfort collides with your calling? Here is the truth in plain sight. Their hate is counterfeit proof of your authenticity. When your life aligns, light spills from you without speeches, and exposure begins. People wrapped in illusion prefer mirrors that flatter. Your presence functions like a diagnostic scan, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of evil. Ephesians 6:12. Personalities are often pawns. The real assault comes from an old kingdom that profits from fear, deception, and control. When doors that should open suddenly jam a few steps from breakthrough. Do you notice how your peace gets targeted first? That's a tell. The pressure is not about blocking a calendar event. It's about choking a destiny frequency before it phase locks. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be deployed. The moment you accept that, your inner architecture changes. In the language of control theory, you stop seeking unstable feedback from crowds and anchor to a higher reference signal in the spirit until your soul achieves Lyapunov stability under shock. Fear loses its negotiating power. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10. Opponents will shout. Labels will fly. Rumors will impersonate facts, but your interior equilibrium refuses to tip because it is tuned to presence, not poles. Attacks spike near thresholds. You've noticed it, 10 meters from an open door. Interruptions multiply. Phones erupt. Allies wobble. Small crises pile like sandbags across your path. That's not coincidence. It's a coordinated denial of service against your attention bandwidth. Why? Because if you cross that line, your authority compounds. Scripture already named the pattern. In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8:37. Conquerors are not crowned for calm days. They're certified by contested ones. Which distraction is loudest right now, and who would benefit if you misread it as a sign to quit? Name it. And its voltage drops. They call you too intense, too principled, too much. Because control needs docility and you refuse sedation. Here's the system diagram. Manipulation is a closed loop that requires your compliance as the plant variable. Once you cut the loop by withdrawing neediness, the controller saturates and fails. Classic control loop saturation. That's why smears escalate when flattery stops working. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 does not promise a world without forged weapons. It promises forged weapons without final say. The strike lands, the verdict doesn't. To ground this where real lives breathe, watch what faith looks like in ordinary rooms. A small-town postal clerk, started logging misrouted parcels after noticing a pattern in overnight sacks. Co-workers joked she was too meticulous. One morning, that log uncovered a skimming ring that had siphoned replacement debit cards. Her quiet data trail became evidence. Policy changed, the route stabilized. That's fault-tolerant architecture, a single faithful node protecting the network. Mateo, a high school custodian, keeps a laminated map of emergency shutoffs and runs monthly drills with the night crew. Students giggle, a teacher calls it dramatic. A steam valve bursts during a winter event. Mateo's map turns chaos into choreography. The superintendent now stores his plan in a weatherproof case, practical topological protection, where wisdom creates safety regardless of surface noise. Asha, a rideshare driver and single parent, prays over every trip and posts one line of gratitude after each shift. A rider complains to cut her rating. She stays steady. 2 months later, a regional partner recruits trainers. Asha's logs, timestamps, routes. Safety notes qualify her to teach. Quiet diligence functions like an error-correcting code, detecting and fixing distortions before they corrupt her record. Your story hums the same melody. Rejection rerouted you onto protected lanes. Betrayal trained your pattern recognition. Delay built spiritual lung capacity. James framed the physics of it. Count it all joy, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. James 1-2-3. Steadfastness is not passivity, it's structural sheer strength, the ability to hold shape under lateral stress. Every season that tried to bend you has increased your modulus, not your bitterness. Understand. 2. How the opposition recruits. The forces that dislike your future hunt for proxies whose appetites make them easy to pilot. Jealousy in one, wounded pride in another, greed or insecurity somewhere else. This is microbiology for the soul quorum, sensing where scattered resentments detect one another and coordinate against what's healthy. When a random acquaintance revives an old rumor or a relative reenacts a stale accusation, it isn't about new data, it's about a swarm reaching critical concentration. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion. 1 Peter 5-8. Sobriety here is strategic clarity. You stop swinging at puppets and cut the strings. Breakthroughs arrive through narrow gates. The passage is designed to strip the bulk you can't carry forward. Excess explanations. Compulsion to please. Anxiety disguised as planning. God gives you a quiet interval between matches, a measured pause where the heart rate drops and your spirit relocks to true north like a phase-locked loop. In that stillness, a fresh Bayesian prior forms you update beliefs from God's faithfulness. not last week's slander. So your choices weight evidence correctly. When you re-enter, your steps carry the authority of someone who has rehearsed truth until it became muscle memory. So what happens next? You will not dim to make their eyes comfortable. You will not fold to earn their conditional peace. You will not discard your assignment to buy their applause. The world does not hate the weak. It hates the strong who stay holy. The more they press, the clearer your outline becomes. The more they scheme, the more heaven reroutes. The more they predict collapse, the more your roots drink from streams they cannot measure. Will you treat their noise as an evacuation siren or as confirmation that you are near the gate you were born to cross? Choose wisely. Your yes today redraws a family map tomorrow. Here is your charge. Rise. Stand with the posture of one who carries a blueprint, not permission slips. Fortify your boundaries. They are holy lines, not arrogance. Speak calmly, precisely, and only as long as assignment requires. Guard your focus like oxygen. Keep the pace God sets unhurried, unharried, unstoppable. The war is real, but the victory is older than the war. Fear not is still the headline. More than conquerors, still the verdict. And no weapon, still the law. You were not sent here to dim, you were sent here to govern your lane under the King's authority. Move forward, unbent, unbought, undeniable, until resistance learns the only sustainable response to your presence is transformation. You did nothing to them, yet the air thinned the moment you arrived. The sighs, the subtle slights, and the sudden storms, none of this is random. It's a signal from a deeper battlefield. Once you recognize the spirit operating through such reactions, you stop taking jabs personally and start moving with surgical wisdom. Rage drains, clarity takes the wheel. Revenge loses its lure. Protection of your energy becomes non-negotiable. Divine justice is already in motion. And the pattern is consistent. The enemy never spends resources on what is harmless. It targets what is potent. Does your recent opposition reveal that you're closer to destiny than you realized? Hear what fear hopes you never learn. You are covered, attacked, tested, pressed through nights that had no language, and yet here you are, still upright. The record is public in heaven. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. They tried to mute you, your voice amplified. They tried to break you, tensile strength increased. They tried to bury you, roots found aquifers. Why? Because he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Psalm 91:11. Assignments went ahead of you. Favor is already embedded into your route. When you replay the close calls you survived, can you sense that unseen hands were calibrating your steps? No weapon gets the final word. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. And that's not theory. It's case law written in your history. Because this is a spiritual war. Your strategy must be spiritual. Steel your inner life. Establish daily rhythms that retune your core prayer, that anchors. Scripture that reframes. Silence that re-oxygenates. Watch your gates, your time, your words, your borders. In cognitive science, the mind defaults to the hysteresis loop of old fear, lingering in yesterday's panic. Prayer and truth break that loop and set a new baseline. Guard your confession, because language is an actuator that moves outcomes in the visible world. The Lord will fight for you. You have only to be still. Exodus 14:14 does not call for passivity. It calls for phase margin, a stability buffer where patience absorbs shocks without losing command. Keep advancing. Attacks are not always roadblocks. Many are impedance mismatches meant to waste power at your interfaces. Realign, and power transmits cleanly again. Understand the playbook. Spikes hit hardest right before lift. The weak the door is due to open. Schedules fracture. Tempers flare. And false narratives travel faster than your truth. That isn't coincidence. That's coordinated interference against your attention bandwidth. The tactic is simple. Exhaust the saint to delay the surge. Your counter is simpler. Hold formation. Pray clean. Speak short. In systems language, you are stabilizing your closed-loop control around a holy reference. In architectural language, you are reinforcing the buckling threshold so the column cannot fold under lateral gossip. And beneath the noise, heaven writes the same verdict. You intended evil against me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50-20. Pressure becomes a conduit. What tried to crush you ends up transporting you. This is also where discernment saves time. Not every face that fails you is your foe by nature. Some are being piloted by currents they do not comprehend. Weak appetites, jealousy, pride, insecurity become ports of entry. In psychology, that's projective identification in networks. It's signal gating, hostile traffic riding legitimate channels. Name it, and you break the spell. You return kindness without surrendering boundaries. You forgive without forfeiting the mission. And you remember the promise etched into the frame, my grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12-9. Grace does not merely soothe, it orthogonalizes your path, sets it at a clean angle to the crowd so you can pass through without entanglement. To show this in human scale, meet an unmentioned witness from the modern church, Saint Oscar Romero, Archbishop of San Salvador, a pastor whose microphone became a plumb line. He once preached with threats in the air and said, "If they kill me, I will rise in the Salvadoran people." He was not chasing martyrdom, he was obeying assignment. The weapons formed, the word outlived them. His life models a principle you already feel in your bones when a chosen one aligns. Fear loses jurisdiction, and history is forced to adjust its trajectory. Which room in your week is demanding caution when your spirit knows it requires courage? Walk in measured, not muted. Even the arts annotate your battle. In Allegri's Miserere, a single treble line climbs beyond the chord like a prayer, refusing to stay earthbound. It returns and resolves, but not before proving there's oxygen above the ceiling. That's what your worship does in warfare. It ascends beyond the grid, then re-enters with authority. And the room is never the same. You carry that same ascent when you sing, when you declare, when you refuse to bow to counterfeit peace that demands your silence. So here is the operating manual, condensed. Stay spiritually grounded. Daily abiding is your coherence bandwidth, the range where your soul hears God clearly despite noise. Protect your energy. Boundary management is impedance. Matching it prevents power loss at relational junctions. Watch your thoughts and words. Confession is state estimation. You speak the king's reality until your feet catch up. Keep moving. Momentum is an eigenmode. Sustain it. And smaller disturbances cannot reroute the main vibration. And when fatigue argues for collapse, remember, the Lord will fight for you, not as a slogan, but as an assignment to rest inside obedience, while heaven handles what exceeds your reach. Now lift your eyes. You were built for this. Chosen, not for comfort, but for conquest that looks like healing. Protected, not to avoid battles, but to win the ones that matter. Unstoppable, not by bluster, but by covenant. The opposition knows it. That's why the fight has been ferocious, but the outcome is older than the attack. No weapon still stands. Angel's guard is still active. If God is for us, still holds jurisdiction. So rise. Stand like a pillar that refuses to bow under rumor. Speak with the calm of one who has rehearsed truth until it becomes muscle memory. Govern your lane with holy precision. Advance until the only sustainable response to your presence is transformation. You poured in loyalty, spoke with clarity, showed your work, and still betrayal came from hands you once trusted. Why? Because your spirit runs on a different voltage. You don't conform to low-tide atmospheres, and light, by design, unsettles what hides in corners. When growth feels optional, your presence makes it urgent. When comfort masquerades as wisdom, your choices unmask it. That's why explanations get twisted. Motives are misread, and silence is labeled arrogance, while kindness is accused of having an agenda. When did you first notice that the clearer your heart became, the louder their suspicion grew? This chronic misunderstanding isn't proof that you're wrong, it's proof that you're rare. The chosen are not sent to be absorbed by the crowd, they are sent to challenge the script, elevate the frequency, and cut off inherited cycles that pretend to be destiny. Envy follows you like a shadow at noon, short, sharp, and impossible to pretend away. You saw it long before the blessings got public, support turning into distance without a word. Unfamiliar faces charging you in their minds with crimes you never committed. That is because envy is not about your possessions, it's about your presence. Long before the promotion, your composure testified against their excuses. Long before the doors, your resilience interrogated their surrender. As John wrote, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." John 1-5. Does their restlessness intensify precisely when you refuse to downshift your standard? That tension is not a curse hanging over you, it is a mirror hovering over them. Isolation has walked beside you like a quiet instructor. There were seasons when conversation felt like static. Rooms felt airless, and connections slid off as if your soul had changed its surface tension. That's because you're in preparation. The Most High is separating you from contamination points, so the next phase won't collapse under borrowed expectations. Your energy is not communal property. Your time is not open seating. In architecture, foundations are poured in solitude. Crowds arrive only after the concrete has cured. Your solitude isn't punishment, it's curing time. If the door stayed shut this month, could it be that heaven is protecting your structure from foot traffic that would crack it too soon? Remember the word that steadies wanderers. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. When the rising begins, resistance pretends to be random. A job offer evaporates. A project meets delays nobody forecast. A friend plants sand in the gears. Your elevation threatens those invested in keeping you small. They want the stage dark because your clarity would reveal the props. Yet what is written for you does not accept edits from insecure editors. Joseph said it to the brothers who wounded him and then needed him. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50-20. Destiny roots around, Sabotage the way rivers discover new banks after a landslide, slower at first, stronger later. Nature itself keeps preaching your story with fresh parables. The sunflower turns heliotropism, tracking the sun's path, not to impress onlookers, but to align for growth. Your daily pivot toward God keeps you photosynthesizing hope when the room prefers shade. The mangrove anchors in brine with air roots that filter salt. Your boundaries act like those pneumatophores, letting oxygen of truth in while keeping bitterness out. The fireweed colonizes burned ground, painting ash with color as the first sign of recovery. Your testimony does that in families scorched by old wars. And the salmon cut upstream through pressure that would terrify timid hearts. Grace has given you a downstream memory of home so strong that the current cannot negotiate you out of your direction. There is also the villain pattern tactics recycled through centuries. But here's a fresh case with a clear consequence. Sanballat and Tobiah, regional power brokers in Nehemiah's day, specialized in mockery, false letters, and fear campaigns to halt the rebuilding of Jerusalem's wall. Their strategy: ridicule the work, question motives, invent threats. The result recorded in history: so the wall was finished, and when all our enemies heard of it, they were greatly cast down in their own eyes. Cf. Nehemiah 6:15-16. Antagonists spend themselves propping the old order. Completion of your assignment becomes their public loss of face. Which ridicule right now is simply a decoy to pull your hands off the stones you're placing? Name it, and keep laying the next course. People try to block what they didn't build. The enemy's favorite myth is that your blessing is fragile. Heaven's favorite habit is proving it isn't. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. Weapons form. Strategies circulate. Side chats multiply, and you keep walking. Because angels are already assigned to intersections you haven't reached. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Psalm 91:11. Understand the physics of destiny. Attacks waste momentum only if you agree to hemorrhage attention. Guard your words like architects guard tolerances. Sloppy language is how load-bearing beams crack. Guard your hour like biologists guard cultures. Contamination spreads fastest when lids are left ajar. Rejection? That was rerouting. Betrayal? That was data acquisition for your discernment. Delay? That was lung capacity training for long-distance faith. No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed. Isaiah 54:17 does not promise a silent forge. It promises a failed strike. And because you won't fight dirty, heaven fights for you in layers you can't see, yet aligning timetables. Softening hearts you'll meet later, and closing pits, others dug with your name on them. Are you willing to let God win battles that your ego wants the credit for? That's how you stay untouchable without becoming unkind. So here is your stance. Do not shrink to sanitize their discomfort. Do not dim to soothe their eyes. Do not trade assignment for approval. Keep your frequency clean, your boundaries holy, your pace measured. Walk like one who knows that misunderstanding is a toll booth, not a verdict. Envy is background noise, not a map. Isolation is construction time, not exile. The world does not resist the average. It resists the anointed who refuse to be domesticated. Rise. Stand with head high and shoulders level. Speak few words and make them accurate. Keep laying stones until the wall is finished and the mockers go silent under the weight of what stands. You were never built to kneel before opinions. Hatred and rejection only fracture what you willingly hand them. They cannot break a life anchored to purpose. The assignment on you does not bow to small judgments, and your name was not written to be managed by fragile rooms. When their noise rises, do you feel your center or their storm? This is the pivot. Stop reading attacks as verdicts and start reading them as weather loud for a moment. Powerless against a well-founded house. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 is not a slogan, it is a standing decree. Your task is to steward alignment while heaven enforces outcomes. Handle it at the correct altitude. It's spiritual, not personal. People tethered to darkness resent carriers of light. Those welded to insecurity glare at those who walk in steady power. Those chasing control try to break what refuses their leash. You act as a mirror, whether you speak or not, reflecting unhealed wounds and hidden jealousy. And some would rather smash the mirror than meet the truth. Which faces around you keep asking for your explanation while refusing your evidence? Stop donating your clarity to arenas committed to misunderstanding. You were not sent to audition for validation, but to complete an assignment. Guard your interior gates, above all else. Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Refuse to react, respond with wisdom. Reaction is the bait. Your composure is the blade that cuts the line. Attackers crave your emotional compliance. Anger, self-doubt, spirals, because once you swing wildly, you're playing their game on their field. Hold formation. Let gossip exhaust itself in low air, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. In system terms, cultivate a band-pass filter for the soul. Let truth and assignment-aligned counsel through. Attenuate rumor and dramatics. Elevate your Nyquist margin, the buffer that keeps feedback from flipping you into instability, by pausing, praying, and deciding at a pace set by purpose, not provocation. In architecture, this is installing expansion joints in your day, so stress dissipates without cracking the structure. Protect your energy like sacred current. Access is stewardship. Some people arrive as parasitic loads, draining voltage with constant complaint. Others function as back pressure in your queue, jamming progress with delays they never intend to resolve. Set boundaries with calm authority. Watch patterns more than promises signal over chatter. Share plans with those who can carry weight, not with those who clap privately while sowing friction publicly. You are not unkind for locking gates. You are wise for guarding treasure. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23:5 means God hosts the meal. You manage the guest list. Stay laser-focused on purpose. Distractions wear many costumes: hate, rejection, betrayal. But the objective is singular: extract you from your lane. Your calling, like a vector, has magnitude and direction. Gossip tries to steal magnitude. Fear tries to scramble direction. Keep both. Stack small obediences until they compound. In information theory, protect your Shannon capacity, the maximum truth your mind can transmit in a day, by refusing side arguments that add noise without fruit. Which conversations cost you more clarity than they deliver? Exit them. Purpose is a long road. Wasted bandwidth becomes lost distance. Transmute hostility into fuel. Doubt can be a catalyst when handed to God, accelerating refinement without poisoning your core. Let ridicule push you deeper into discipline. Let doors that close tutor your strategy. Let resistance confirm your altitude. Every world changer met walls. They walked until walls became corridors. Do not be overcome by evil. but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. Good here is not vague niceness, it's voltage under governance skills sharpened, routines tightened, prayer lifted, generosity aimed. Greatness is not allergic to resistance, it metabolizes it. Forgive, then archive the lesson. Bitterness is a corrosion reaction. It eats the vessel that hosts it. Forgiveness stops the reaction. Memory updates your threat model so the same snake doesn't strike twice. Release the weight so you can run, but keep the data so you can build. This is affect regulation, not amnesia. Jesus modeled it when he was reviled. He did not revile in return. 1 Peter 2:23. Alluded. And we answer with the same restraint, mercy in tone. Steel in boundaries. Which name still tightens your chest, and what boundary would set your lungs free? Set it kindly. Keep it firmly. You are not walking unescorted. Coverage is active. Assignments precede your footsteps. Angels flank your lanes. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. Protection does not mean absence of conflict, it means presence of command. In physics, imagine your life as a phase space. Curve many possible paths exist, yet providence constrains the trajectory toward destiny. In chronobiology, think circadian entrainment, daily rhythms that keep you in sync with heaven's timing. Drift begins when you trade prayer time for performance time. And when fatigue gathers, God grants the quiet interval between matches, the halftime locker room of the soul where breath resets. Counsel lands, and strategy emerges. You exit with fewer words and more weight. To make this tangible, meet 3 ordinary witnesses whose lives carry these laws. Min, a market florist, opens before dawn and prays a single sentence over each bouquet, peace for the house it enters. A vendor 2 stalls down mocks her rituals and edges into her space. Min documents inventory, time stamps deliveries, keeps kindness high and escalation low. Weeks later, the mocker faces a contract audit. Min's meticulous logs become the model for the lane, a case of forensic integrity, truth that holds under scrutiny. Soraya, a junior lab tech, refuses to fudge a borderline assay. Her supervisor urges flexibility. She cites protocol, submits exact note, and accepts the cold shoulder. A contamination issue surfaces across sites. Soraya's precise chain of custody halts a costly recall. Her restraint acts like a noise gate, keeping spurious signals from corrupting the dataset, and her reputation rises quietly. Darius, a city busker and caregiver, records 1 hymn per week outside the hospital while his mother rests inside soft voice. No bucket, no pitch. Security once asked him to move along. He moved 10 meters and kept singing. Families time visits to his half hour. Nurses say the hallway feels lighter. Without naming it, Darius raises the ward's effective baseline. Hate never stops him. Love retunes the room. All of this returns to one thunderclap. You were chosen to rise, not to rust. Hatred and rejection cannot write your ending unless you hand them the pen. No weapon still governs outcomes. Guard your heart still governs inputs. Overcome with good still governs methods. Peace that guards still governs mind and mood. And a table prepared still governs provision. Isaiah 54-17, Proverbs 4:23, Romans 12:21, Philippians 4-7, Psalm 23-5. Will you keep dimming to make fragile eyes comfortable, or will you stand at full brightness and let God handle the squinting? The world does not resist the ordinary, it resists the anointed who refuse domestication. Rise. Stand with measured shoulders and a steady gaze. Speak briefly and accurately. Fortify your boundaries. Keep building. Keep blessing. Keep moving. You were not sent here to fit in. You were sent here to finish. You weren't made to wilt under opinions. You were wired to cut through resistance like a prow through storm water. Hate is the tariff greatness pays. Rejection is the strength test, the faithful pass. And if these winds are hitting you now, congratulations, your compass is pointed true. When their noise tries to script your identity, do you feel your God-given center or their temporary storm? Keep rising. Keep shining. Keep walking in power. They can claw at the surface, but they cannot touch a destiny written in fire. Here's the shock that frees you. The hostility you face is often a hidden blessing. The world rarely bothers those who blur into the crowd. It rages at those who stand out. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118-22. Rejection isn't your ruin. It's your rebar. That glare you catch across a room is not about your shoes or salary. It's about your signature presence that refuses to counterfeit. If the doors that shut were actually detours around cliffs, would the no feel different in your chest? What looked like a setback rerouted you onto load-bearing ground. Opposition forges you without resistance. There's no hypertrophy without struggle. There's no spine. Count it all joy, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete. James 1-2. Trace your story. Insults became insulation. Betrayals became pattern recognition. Delays became stamina. Would you carry this much steel in your voice if life had stayed painless? The fire didn't reduce you, it refined you like gold. And here is protection disguised as no. Some exits were mercy in plain clothes. Joseph stood in front of the very brothers who sold him and said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50-20. The job that vanished? A culture misaligned with your integrity. The relationship that cracked? A covenant you would have had to keep alone. Heaven shuts certain gates not to punish you, but to preserve you. Which loss felt like abandonment at the time, but reads like rescue in hindsight. Trust the redirection. The map was edited by someone who sees the mountain from the summit, not the valley. Creation itself keeps preaching your life back to you. The bamboo spends seasons building roots in silence and then shoots meters skyward in a blur. The quiet years weren't empty, they were engineering. The oyster turns an irritant into a pearl. What agitated you is becoming the treasure others will come to see. The Krumholtz pines on wind-punished ridges grow low and flexible, then outlive taller trees below. Your humility is longevity in disguise. And the basalt columns formed by cooling lava fracture into perfect hexagons under pressure. Your ordered strength is literally crystallizing out of heat. History adds a witness with skin on it. Harriet Tubman, abolitionist and underground conductor, moved through the night, armed with faith and strategy. I always told God, I'm going to hold steady to you, and you've got to see me through. She was hunted, slandered, underestimated, and still kept coming back, escorting lives out of bondage. What was her secret? Purpose louder than fear. Which hallway are you hesitating to enter because someone else's anxiety is echoing there? Walk it. Purpose rewrites acoustics. The arts echo the same law. In Hildegard of Bingen's luminous chant, O Ignis Spiritus, the melody climbs like a flame that refuses to gutter out. A sonic reminder that holy fire doesn't ask permission from the wind. Your worship does that. It rises over the crosswind of criticism, returns with oxygen, and the room has to breathe different. And remember the promise that frames the whole canvas. We know that all things work together for good to those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. This is not naive optimism, it's covenant calculus. There is also the antagonist pattern, the old tactics wearing new clothes. Demetrius, the silversmith. A tradesman in Ephesus, Acts 19, whipped a crowd into a riot to protect his idle business. His outcome? The city clerk diffused the frenzy. The gospel advanced, and the panic only proved which kingdom was losing market share. That blueprint repeats: mockery, misinformation, mob pressure, then exposure, dissipation, forward motion. Your assignment is not to wrestle shadows, but to keep building the wall that makes shadows irrelevant. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Weapons may be forged and raised, they still fail to author your ending. Finally, harvest the fuel hidden in the hate. Let doubt push you deeper into discipline. Let disrespect tighten your excellence. Let resistance confirm your altitude. If no one had ever pushed you out, would you have found the path made only for your feet? Refuse bitterness. It corrodes the vessel that holds it. Forgive. Then archive the lesson. Rise, not to dazzle, but to finish. You are chosen. Your trajectory is sealed. Your future is under construction in a workshop they cannot enter. Keep rising. Keep shining. Keep walking in power until the only sustainable response to your presence is transformation. You were never meant to carry everyone with you. Hate has a ruthless way of sorting the room, peeling off the ones who clapped for your comfort but flinched at your calling so the right hands can lock in beside you. It hurts at first. Yes, but it's a hidden mercy. You don't need staged loyalty or rented affection. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. Which means what walked away was scaffolding, and what remained was foundation. When faces fall off your journey, do you feel abandoned, or do you sense space being cleared for the ones who can run your pace? Here is the reframe that breaks the spell. Hostility is often a confirmation, not a curse. The average is ignored, the anointed is opposed. Resistance announces your difference, your rare signal, your presence that refuses to be domesticated. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Light does not audition for darkness. It exposes it. If rejection arrived right before your next elevation, could it be the door swinging shut on a room too small for your assignment? The world's pushback becomes proof that you're aimed correctly. Their discomfort is an unintended amen. Opposition is also a gym for the soul. Strength is a byproduct of load. Without pressure, there is no resilience, only theory. Trace your own timeline, the misread moments that taught precision, the slammed doors that trained endurance, the betrayals that sharpened discernment. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Not all things are good, but all things can be conscripted. Would your voice carry this much steel if the path had been padded? Fire didn't ruin you, it refined you. Nature keeps preaching this in parables we can feel. The snowdrop pierces late frost with a bell of white timing isn't fear's decision. It's written in the bulb. A meerkat sentinel climbs a mound and watches while the colony feeds sacrifice, organizes safety. A river delta avulsion abandons a clogged channel and cuts a fresh course to the sea flow, refuses to be trapped by yesterday's path. And the desert date palm drives a deep taproot to hidden aquifer's surface. Drought cannot cancel underground supply. Which picture mirrors your season pushing through frost? Standing watch, carving a new channel, or drinking deeper than the weather? Hate also separates you from hazards disguised as help. Closed doors can be shields. The offer that vanished spared you from corridors where your integrity would have to carry everyone else's weight. The friend who soured exposed a leak in your boat while you were still near shore. Your steps are not orphaned, they are supervised. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 doesn't promise a silent forge, it promises a failed strike. So when opposition tries to colonize your horizon, you remember, some losses were choreography, not chaos. Because destiny for the chosen is never private. You were marked to lead, not to trail, to awaken sleepers, not to entertain them, to break cycles that brag about being tradition. Your instruction manual was written in scars and resurrections, so you could stand in front of others and say, truthfully, I walked through fire and I am still here. Which crowd will find their courage because you refuse to mute yours? Real leadership is embodied testimony. There is always an antagonist on the stage, and naming the pattern steals its power. Elymas, the sorcerer, Acts 13, tried to derail Paul's mission by twisting truth and blocking the path. The consequence was immediate blindness, a public end to private manipulation, and the governor believed that template repeats across eras: smear, stall, stir a crowd, then exposure, reversal, forward motion. Your task isn't to wrestle every rumor, it's to keep building the wall that makes rumors irrelevant. You are a chosen people, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. 1 Peter 2-9. Declarers don't debate shadows, they switch on lamps. So embrace what the world misnames as setback. Let their doubt harden your discipline. Let their distance clarify your circle. Let their plot become your proof. What is written in the Spirit is not erased by fragile pens. When the same storm that once scattered you now only sharpens your stride. Doesn't that tell you who you are becoming? You were never designed to be average, you were engineered to be answer. Keep moving until the ones who doubted have nothing left to do but watch the evidence stand where your name stands. Here is the charge that closes the gap between knowing and doing. Rise. Lead with a steady face and a clean heart. Guard your boundaries without bitterness and your hope without hurry. Speak as one who carries verdicts older than the fight. Keep laying the next true stone until the wall is finished and the noise fades under the weight of what stands. No weapon is still law. Light on a hill is still your assignment. All things work is still the calculus of your days. You are chosen, your trajectory is sealed, your future is under construction in a workshop they cannot enter. Rise and keep rising. You are the first of your kind in your line, the one who names what others refuse to acknowledge. The one who dares to rewire what the room calls normal. That is why your road has been steep. Breaking generational patterns is engineering, not sentiment. It demands strength, endurance, wisdom, and a resilience that doesn't blink under pressure. Yet you were built for this. When you trace the family story, can you sense where your footsteps diverged from the old loop and a new chapter began under your name because of your courage? Those after you will breathe different air because you chose to rise. The old curse snaps here and the echo fades. Favor has been threaded through your days like steel through concrete, while others wander in fog. You've been given headings where doors jam for the crowd. Breakthrough forms a quiet hinge for you. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10 is not poetry on a mug. It's a structural promise that holds under load. How many times did you fall and still find yourself standing? I'm surprised to discover you'd landed on strength you didn't know you had. You are not walking alone. A guidance and protection flank you like pillars. And as long as you keep your feet inside your assignment, nothing with a lesser name can write your ending. Legacy is the point, not applause. You were not sent merely to exist. You were sent to leave a wake of wisdom, healed lives, and an uncompromising example. For I know the plans I have for you, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11 means your impact outruns your years. It becomes architecture for others. Purpose like this does not travel lightly. It travels true. Which habit, if you establish it now, will still be protecting your grandchildren's hearts? That is the caliber of decision that fits the destiny on you. Your path has always been different. You test ideas others swallow whole, decline trends that dilute integrity, and question ceilings built from other people's fears. That difference is not attitude, it's assignment. We know that all things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:28 is the calculus beneath your days. Pain is not good, yet God can conscript it. The betrayals trained your pattern recognition. The isolation cured your foundation. The delays added tensile strength to your hope. In material science, your soul's tensile modulus has increased. Under stress, you spring back to form. In architecture, your load path continuity has been reinforced. Weight now travels through you without catastrophic failure. Because your story is not merely private, it's prototypical. You were chosen to lead, not trail to awaken sleepers, not soothe them, to break cycles that brag about being the way it's always been. Leadership forged this way does not speak in slogans, it testifies from scars. For this light, momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory. 2 Corinthians 4:17, lives in your bones. Pain was not wasted, it became weight, and weight became authority. Who will find their courage because you refuse to downgrade yours, to keep the message grounded? Watch how legacy looks in ordinary rooms. Clara, the school nurse, drafts simple emergency cards for anxious students and keeps one in each classroom. Some staff call it overkill until a field trip scare proves the system. Her small practice works like a fault tree analysis, preventing failure by mapping it in advance. And the district adopts it. Omar, a maintenance technician, schedules a free Saturday repair hour for seniors in his building. A few neighbors grumble. Months later, the elevator fails, and his parts log shortens the outage dramatically, kindness crossing the percolation threshold, so the community begins to self-organize. Lucia, a grocery cashier, prays quietly before each shift, keeps handwritten notes on tricky transactions, and trains new hires from those pages. Her pattern spotting behaves like a human Koopman mode decomposition, capturing dynamics the software misses and reducing escalations. Creation itself whispers your assignment in parables fresh as morning. The moonflower waits for darkness to bloom. Some gifts are designed for night duty, and you are discovering yours. A lighthouse lens uses Fresnel geometry to send far light with little fuel. Stewardship beats spectacle. A cave formation grows, mineral ring by mineral ring, slow, exact, unstoppable. And in the canyon, Helmholtz resonance turns a narrow gap into a note. Your focused obedience amplifies a sound bigger than your volume. Which picture mirrors your season blooming after dusk, sending far light with small fuel, building ring by ring, or turning a narrow place into a song. There is always an antagonist in the narrative, a caution sketched in scripture with both tactic and consequence. Herod Antipas, flattered and cornered by spectacle, silenced John the Baptist to protect his image. Mark 6. The short-term outcome looked like victory. The long-term consequence was rot at the core and a legacy synonymous with cowardice. The pattern remains. Vanity demands compromise, then spends a lifetime hiding from its own mirror. Your refusal to barter truth for safety keeps your name clean. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:8 means tomorrow's path is already scouted. No costume villain can own what God has already surveyed. Hold ground at altitude with a craftsperson's discipline. Guard isochrony, regular intervals of prayer and silence, so your soul's metronome refuses panic's tempo. Mantone boundary layer, discipline low friction, routine sleep. Scripture, movement, that keep purpose from stalling against life's surfaces. Use a Kalman filter on your inputs. Merge Scripture's steady signal with daily data while downweighting noisy opinions. When criticism hits, apply apodization. Soften the edges of your response to prevent ringing. Clarity without cruelty. And between battles, take the quiet interval between matches, a locker room of the spirit where breath returns and instructions land with weight. If the map is prepared, why surrender the journey to voices that haven't walked a mile of it? All of this arcs toward the same horizon: legacy. You are not here to perform, you are here to build. You are not here to impress, you are here to imprint. Step into your blueprint without apology. Walk with a steady face and a warm core. Keep your pace unhurried and unstoppable. What tried to bury you will be the soil your legacy grows from. You were sent to rise, to awaken, to lead, to heal, to shine. No amount of hate, rejection, or delay can stop an assignment God has already signed. Will you stand at full brightness and let God handle the squinting? Rise and keep rising. If you felt the chill when you enter a room, the sudden murmur that rises around your name, the odd choreography of doors closing just when a new hallway appears, take heart. Across everything we've explored, one truth keeps returning like a refrain. Resistance has been reading your assignment out loud. It is not your personality that intimidates, it is your purpose. The world rarely wages war against what blends in. It scrambles. Instead, when light refuses to dim, when a spirit refuses the leash, when a calling refuses to be domesticated. That's you. You've been learning to separate signal from noise, meaning from mockery, real correction from petty control. You've seen how hatred can function like a backhanded compliment, how rejection can double as redirection, how delay can quietly build the muscle that destiny requires. But insight is not the finish line, it is the start of wiser movement. So here is your closing compass. Guard the atmosphere of your life like a sanctuary. Keep a short, sturdy rhythm with God, a few honest minutes of prayer, morning and night. One passage of scripture that anchors your day. A gratitude line before sleep. Protect your gates, your time, your words, your focus. Not every conversation deserves a reply. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Maintain boundaries without bitterness, and hope without hurry. Choose friends who love truth more than drama, excellence more than appearances, growth more than gossip, where possible. Answer malice with clarity and mercy, where necessary. Be silent and let results speak. Your peace is a kind of power. Your consistency is a kind of warfare. Then, build. Lay the next true stone. Do the small faithful thing no one sees, and let God scale it at the right hour. Pull into craft. Keep promises. Carry humility like armor. To keep generosity warm, especially when cynicism feels fashionable. Forgive quickly so corrosion never forms on the inside of your soul. Learn the lesson without replaying the wound. And remember, you are not working for applause, you are working from assignment. Destiny is not fragile. If it were, slander would have ended it long ago. If this message steadied your spirit or sharpened your steps, I'd love for you to stay in the conversation. Tap like to help this reach another person who is 1 hour from quitting. Share this with a friend who's been misread and wonders if it's their fault. Comment with one decision you're making this week. Your words might be the lifeline someone else needs tonight. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. This space exists to train courage, guard purpose, and keep your frequency clean in a noisy world. To those who've supported the channel, whether you've given a super thanks or simply lent your time, your attention, and your prayers, thank you, truly. The algorithm may count clicks, but heaven counts faithfulness, and your presence here is part of that faithfulness. If you're not in a place to give, your being here still matters, your listening heart, your quiet intercession, your willingness to grow. These are gifts. If you are able and choose to sow into this work through super thanks or any other means, I'm grateful. It helps us craft better resources, reach farther, and keep this table set for anyone who needs a seat. Let this be your benediction as you close this page and step back into your day. May your mind be guarded by peace that refuses panic. May your boundaries be firm and kind, your voice steady and true, your steps unhurried and unstoppable. May the rooms that once tried to shrink you become places that witness your integrity. And may those who misunderstood you encounter grace through your endurance. May closed doors reveal themselves as shelter. May open doors align with assignment. And may your work leave a trail of healing that outlives your years. May the one who called you keep you, carry you, and crown your effort with fruit that cannot be stolen. You are chosen, not to escape the world, but to outlove, outlast, and outbuild what fear has erected. Walk out of here with your head level and your heart light. Stand where you shine. Speak only what strengthens. Bless what is in front of you. And keep moving forward until the only sustainable response to your presence is transformation. And when the noise rises, smile. It's just the sound of a system adjusting to the weight you carry. I'm honored to walk this road with you. I'll see you in the comments and on the next message. Until then, grace and peace over you and yours. May your table be full, your path be clear, and your courage have good company.